different church. He is launching. His final hillside service will be this Sunday.
Welcome back, everybody. We want you we're almost at 1,000.
The whistle from the kettle.
My husband's snoring.
Toilet flushing.
Garbage truck backing up.
First sound I heard.
The first sound I heard with my hearing aids.
It's what I heard the day I got my hearing aids.
Find your beautiful sounds at hearinglife.com.
BS that they've
that's what
always been
organizations
on.
like the International Rescue
But we're in
Committee
here,
Atlanta
we're
step
standing here,
in.
we're gonna
They
do
will work
this,
with the families to help them get established with work and community to support themselves and begin building a new home. The executive director of the IRC says it is work they often do with a heavy heart.
Refugee resettlement is sort of the last best option for people, right?
Instagram,
because we know that
Twitter,
once people make that journey literally across the world and start to rebuild their lives into another community,
so all the links should be sent out, and
of those folks will not,
the people know what time
never go
pretty
home.
much I get on.
The IRC has been in Atlanta for 40 years, and most recently they've been working with Afghan refugees. Howell says it could take months or years.
I wanted to stay in. I stayed in a little bit longer than I normally would, but I really wanted to stay in. Shout out to shout out to her.
The whistle from the kettle.
My husband's snoring.
Toilet flushing.
Garbage truck backing up.
First sound I heard.
The first sound I heard with my hearing aids.
It's what I heard the day I got my hearing aids.
Find your beautiful sounds at hearinglife.com.
New at 5 refugees by the tens of thousands making the journey from Ukraine over the border, many of them arriving in Poland and traveling to Warsaw. And while the Polish capital has welcomed refugees, the mayor says the city is at its limit and needs help.
As
those that do come to the
we're
United
still
States
on this
will be
campaign to save
with
Mason,
little
Tennessee.
to no personal resources.
We all know this. This is a fact. However, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna say any names because I'm still doing current investigation on what's going on.
We begin tonight with breaking news
and watch on
There's
demand.
been a lot of mess. There's been a lot of people being real messy about this situation.
I love these segments. It is time now to hit the open
One
road
of the
with the crew
facts of being on code, and I did do like the on code court or whatever you want. We haven't came up with a name about it. That's calling out people who are off code. And I said that we shouldn't allow certain people to get take their personal issues out on other
I'm
people.
Chris Bainbridge,
This should be about
inviting you
being
to
on
take a
code
ride
or
with
off
me.
code.
This
This
is an
shouldn't be
amazing
about,
place
I
to
don't
find
like
adventure
this
in all shapes and sizes. Ingalls has sent me on a mission to bring you the very best of what our beautiful home has to offer. Food, fun, nature, music, and more. All affordable and all out of the ordinary. This.
Hold on. Something was playing in the background. Is it better now? Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what it is. It's a clip I was gonna show, and this damn ad keeps popping up. Can you guys hear me now? Is it better now? It's good now? Okay, it's good now. Okay, so on the thing when it comes to Mason, Tennessee, thank you, Mike, and thank you, B1 Mike, and thank you, Angus, for letting me know. Esmond, thank you. When it comes to the thing with Mason, Tennessee, I'm not gonna call out any names. If it doesn't apply to you, you shouldn't be bothered by it. If it does apply to you, then yeah, you should be bothered by it and let that go. There's a lot of mess going on. Now it's like people making this into separate groups about, okay, well, this is this group and this is this group, and then that stems from some other things, and that's these other groups of people. This is why I'm very careful when it comes to joining groups of people. Everybody in this group of people need to be vetted, and that's something I'm noticing. There's like different. Okay, I'm with this clique. I'm with this clique. That stuff is off code. We just had a long thing about that, about being off code. All of that. I don't like you because of this, and I don't like you, and that's derailing the momentum of our campaign to save Mason, Tennessee. So that's off code. And there's a couple of people that I've been seeing who've been making like back and forth things, and there's some things that I've been noticing Now, I'm not going to say any names because I don't know all the facts yet, but I'm just noticing the beef. If you guys have some type of personal issue with each other, then maybe you guys need to settle that in a private call, a private DM conversation, or whatever you have. But that stuff is not supposed to be for the public. That stuff is not supposed to be on the timeline. I shouldn't be seeing people beef on the timeline or in the Twitter spaces. That stuff is off code, and that stuff is going to derail the momentum that we're building up. Okay, so that's just my comment on that so far. But I have seen that. Okay. Okay. I want to show y'all this. I need to show y'all this. Now I know some of y'all might be upset with me for showing y'all. Y'all might be all like, "Where did you find this? Where did you find this?" Okay. But I gotta say, yes, exactly. Public beef is off code. View of one. Shout out to you, Sister Nino Black. What's going on, bro? Before I get into this subject, because I don't want to get like serious, then go into something kind of humorous, right? So I want to show you guys this real quick. Okay. Since it's been like announced that the U.S. is bringing in 100,000 Ukrainian Nazi refugees. You have a whole bunch of people caping for Ukraine. I saw this on the news today, which was really weird. Speaking of the situation, I'm not going to really touch on this in too much detail. I keep noticing the reporters keep asking these questions about, well, when are we going to send troops to Ukraine? They keep asking, well, if they do that, will you send troops? If they do that, will you send troops? Okay, well, when are we going to send troops? Is our response going to be sending troops? Are you going to take more aggressive action? I don't know why the media is really trying to push the issue of like going to war with Russia. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but that's something in the media around me that I'm noticing, that the media is really trying to, it seems like escalate another confrontation, or a confrontation, because there hasn't been one yet that we know of, but a confrontation between America or NATO and Russia to start some type of World War III. Okay. Yeah, in the news gets a lot of money from that. But I want to know if you guys have noticed that, because that's something that I'm seeing over and over and over, the reporters asking like the same questions, alluding to the same thing. That's something very suspicious we should be looking out for. Okay? Now watch all these Ukrainian Nazis coming over here, and then they're going to be number one priority above getting our tangibles. If these Ukrainian Nazis come and try the same bullying mechanism tricks that they thought that they was able to get away with the Africans in Ukraine, they will learn very quickly that we are not the same people. Exactly. Denmark won't take them, but we will. Yeah, they're not being vetted for crime. They're not being vetted for anything like that. There's not a study going on. Every time black people need something, you always have to go through some study, some committee, some court. It's got to be voted. It's a national poll where everybody has an opinion. No, I haven't seen a poll asking if America approves of Ukrainian refugees coming to America. Okay? I haven't seen a poll, but there's always when it comes to our reparations, there's a poll. When it comes to something benefiting us as foundational black Americans, there's a poll, there's a study, there's a committee. Then we gotta wait, and there's a bill to study the bill to make the thing happen. There's always something like that. Okay, but before we get into it, let me play this clip. Some of you guys have seen this already, but let me play this real quick. Hold on, let me do it like this. All right, play this clip. Warning, you guys might have small children. And we were just talking about Eminem, so I found Eminem's little brother, actually. Oh, hold on. Hold on.
I'm 99 Alexan. Hope you guys like my flavor.
Here we go.
Come on. Prime time, 99, on the grind all the time. Go insane for Ukraine. A bullet in Putin's brain. I'm prime time, always on the grind, always gotta shine. And you know it's no lie.
My best friend.
What? Oh, excuse me. Come on, audio. Where are we going? Now we're going. Now we're cooking, guys. I got it turned down a little bit. It's prime time. Let's start that one more time, guys. Come on in the audience. Let's vibe tonight. It's prime time. Officer, you know I'm on the grind. You know gas prices are way too high. Putin's got to die. Put a bullet in Putin's head. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm a freak for the vaccine. Vaccinate my body. At the party, sipping Bacardi. I'm the proof when I'm in the booth, spitting on the mic. Putin's anti-vax. Putin hates all of them blacks. Putin is a bad racist. Put him in the ground, white or brown. And I'm in plain old town. And you know you just got found. I'm a pimp on a blimp. Unless a stack is shrimp. No, you can't stop my shine. I'm number 99. And you know I'm grand and shine. And you know I do it all the time. One more time, I'm teaching class. This is your whole path. Zelensky is a VIP. Ukraine and I go insane. Put a bullet in Ukraine. You know that is the plan. I'm a Zelensky stand. I love you.
The whistle from the kettle.
My husband's snoring.
Toilet flushing.
Garbage truck backing up.
First sound I heard.
The first sound I heard with my hearing aids.
It's what I heard the day I got my hearing aids.
Find your beautiful sounds at hearinglife.com.
The rule was put in place in 2019 by World Athletics, which is the international governing body for track and field competitions. The rule states women competing in the 400-meter races or longer must have testosterone levels lower than 5 nanomoles per liter. While it is difficult to prove if there is a racial intent, sports...
I'm sorry if that hurt y'all ears. I don't know what it is with this. Now I'm gonna have to just exit this link because there's something I wanted to show, but there's this damn thing that keep popping up. This damn thing keeps popping up. Okay. But yeah, that's Eminem's little brother. Okay. Speaking of Eminem, we were just in the look. He's a pimp on a blimp. Okay. Notice too, something I wanted to point this, and the reason why I pointed this out, notice how he used the Vladimir Zelensky is racist thing. Saying that as if Vladimir Putin is racist, saying that as if Zelensky isn't racist. They're both racist. See, that's the tactic of the Democrats. They play this like racist hot potato where, okay, well, he's racist, so naturally you should be against him because he's racist, and we're going to kind of just overlook. We're going to kind of keep our heads in the sand when it comes to the racism from the people we're stands of. Okay? Yeah, the rhymes were so elementary. Okay? This man said, I'm a pimp on a blimp. I've never heard that before. And that didn't match what he was rhyming about at all. He was just saying random things that rhymed and then repeating it over and over again. Okay? That he reminds me of Eminem when he first started. Okay. But now let's get to some serious stuff, right? Now, before we get to this, actually let me just close this because the ads are just gonna keep playing. So before we get to this, let me give a shout out to Torian Rain because I believe he's the first person to ever to make a story about this, and then shout out to Professor Black Truth because he brought this up in one of his morning of truths as well. Before we do that, though, let me read the Copyright Act because they're already trying to give me copyright strikes. So, here we go. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Okay? All right. So, and I'm not even going to play the full clip of this situation. I'm not even going to play the full clip. But if you guys have anybody watched the 2020 Critics' Choice Awards? Okay? Now, I haven't. I'm not an award show person, I guess, but I haven't. But apparently Jane Champion won an award for a movie that went straight to DVD called House of the Dogs or something. Okay? So, this is her giving her award speech when she got up there and she took the, I guess, the trophy or whatnot for her award. Okay? Hold on, let me see something. Okay, there we go.
Taika, thank you, Critics' Choice. And it's absolutely stunning to be here tonight amongst so many incredible women. Hal Berry, you have already done my speech. So, and really killed it. I loved it. You're absolutely brilliant. And Venus and Serena, what an honor to be in the room with you. I've taken up tennis. I truly have, and Will, if you want to come over and give me lessons. I would truly love it. I actually had to stop playing because I've got tennis elbow. I'd also just like to give my love out to my fellow, the guys. The nominees, and you know, Serena and Venus, you are such marvels. However, you do not play against the guys. Like I have to.
Okay. Did you guys catch that? Okay. Now, before we get into it, because this is actually a lot deeper than some people may understand. Okay, so I'm glad people are doing this. Oh, Maya's in here, B1 Maya. Let's review the 9 areas of people activity that white supremacy dominates. Okay, the 9 areas of people activity are economics, education, entertainment, which includes sports and movies, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Okay? Now, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing said that if she was to add another one, she would add health to it as well. But these are the original 9 that Neely Fuller had put out. Okay? So, let's look at this one from in the 9 areas of human activity. She said human, he said people. They used that term interchangeably. Somebody tried to correct me. Oh, it's the 9 areas of people activity. Dude, oh, I hate when people correct people without really a point. I mean, that was not a necessary thing to correct me on. I mean, they're used interchangeably, but okay. The 9 areas of human activity, right? Let's look at this one from the entertainment one, right? Okay? So you guys, and I'm going to keep this up here. So you guys know, yeah, and B1 salute to Neely Fuller, okay? That brother is a black icon and should be respected as such. So is Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Now, if you guys notice, there's always a racial element to all of these factors. And if you don't understand these factors, you don't understand white supremacy. Now let's look at the entertainment. There's always a racial element to entertainment, okay? There's been a racial element to tennis. There's been a racial element to boxing. There's been a racial element to a lot of different sports, as well as movies as well, too. There's always a racial element. Now, in a lot of sports, before black people were allowed to play those sports was mainly white, okay? Even now, currently, tennis is really a very segregated, kind of gatekeep sport. You don't really see a lot of non-white players, especially black players, participating in tennis. They do that with certain sports where they want to have the dominant field on. They do that with sports like tennis, golf. They do it to an extent with other sports too, like hockey. They do it with other sports, and then they'll have like the complete dominant. The term is slipping my mind. They'll be able to monopolize those sports, okay? Because black people are not participating in those sports. The second black people participate in NASCAR, thank you, Nino. NASCAR is another one. The second black people fairly participate in those sports, then it's a problem, because then you see that they're not the best. Anytime black people are on an even playing field, with any sport, with any form of entertainment, black people go above and beyond and excel, okay? Just like Venus and Serena Williams, okay? And the dominant society has always thrown passive-aggressive shots at Venus and Serena Williams. Now, so you know there are some things that Venus and Serena Williams have done that I'm not approving of, but I'm talking specifically on the principle. You don't have to like a person to talk about the principle, okay? Just the same way we were talking about with Jussie Smollett. Just because I talk about an athlete or an actor or something like that doesn't mean I like that person specifically. I'm talking about the principle of racism within the subject that I'm talking about. Now, they've always thrown passive-aggressive shots at Venus and Serena Williams. They've called them masculine. They've called them ghetto. They've called them unclassy, unprofessional. There's always been shots thrown at them by the dominant society, especially when you see it when they can't really defend themselves. Okay. They do this because they got a bug in their ass, because Venus and Serena Williams has really taken the sport of Black Alpha Network is in here. Peace to Black Alpha. They've taken the sport to a whole nother league. When she was talking about, oh, you don't compete against the men, really, to be honest, a lot of people, when you talk about tennis athletes in general, Venus and Serena Williams are some of the first people you think of when you're talking about tennis in general, even above the men. So a lot, in a way, specifically, they do compete. And there is like a mixed tennis thing where there is like a mixed sport tennis. So in a way, they have competed against the men, but they always have a bug in their ass because they know there's never going to be a white person, not even a non-black person, that's going to really surpass the levels of Venus and Serena Williams as far as credibility, as far as being the greatest. When people talk about the greatest tennis players of all time, the first people you think about are Venus and Serena Williams, two foundational Black American sisters, and they hate that. And every single chance they get, they throw jabs at that. If you notice, just when it comes to sports in general, they always throwing jabs at like the best players. They're like, they do that often with LeBron talking about shut up and dribble. They often throwing jabs at the best black players. Okay. When it comes to basketball, black people weren't allowed to play in the NBA until 1950, and then you see how black men pretty much 100% took the sport over. If they were only allowed to be drafted in the 1950s, now you barely see any non-black players in the game. The people who can, if you ask the average person who they consider the three best basket players of all time, often you'll hear Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. If you ask the top 10 best basket players of all time, you don't really hear a white player. You don't hear Larry Bird in that name, in that list, I mean. And they have a bug in their ass about that. Okay? So every now and then you'll see them taking shots at LeBron. Which this is one of the reasons why they hold not Tom Hardy. Damn, what's his name? Is his name Tim Hardy? It is Tom Hardy, right? Tom Hardy. This is one of the reasons why they hold Tom Brady, not Tom Hardy. They hold Tom Brady to such high esteem because he's like the white face of football. He's like the white savior of football. Because if it wasn't Tom Brady, and a lot of people have been calling out for years that Tom Brady, a lot of that, I mean, he can throw the ball, but a lot of his wins the refs are on his side. They're not calling fouls from the other team. The refs are very one-sided. Yeah, Tom Brady, I'm sorry. I was thinking about somebody else. So there's even a racial element to Tom Brady's wins. They give a lot of passes to Tom Brady too. But they hold him, oh my God, they never say anything, not one single thing negative about Tom Brady. They always hold Tom Brady up to this high esteem because he is like the white champion of that sport. And they'll never say a black player is better than Tom Brady, even if now it's not like I watch it to know, but even if a black player is. Okay? Let me see. Tom Hardy. Yeah, Tom Hardy is an actor. He was in the Venom movie. That was Venom. He played Eddie Brock in Venom. I don't know why I had his name stuck in my head. But that's what they do. They're doing that with Logan Paul too, trying to make him the white champion of boxing, because boxing has always been dominated by black men specifically. When people talk about the best boxers of all time, they're referring to black men when they talk about that. So they're cheating their way up to making what's his name? Damn, I just said his name. Just said Logan Paul, like this great boxer. So notice, and I bring all of this back to say, there's a racial element when it comes to entertainment and sports in general, okay? Now, why she called out Jane Champion, let's get back to the clip, actually. Why she felt the need to call out Venus and Serena Williams, when Venus and Serena Williams are not in the movie business. Let me pull the clip back up, because there's something I want you to see. Hold on, let me take this down. Let me take that down. There's something that I want you to see. Okay, this unwarranted shot that she threw at Venus and Serena.
I've taken up tennis. I truly have, and Will, if you want to come over and give me lessons. I would truly love it. I actually had to stop playing because I got tennis elbow.
Unfunny jokes.
I'd also just like to give my love out to my fellow, the guys. The nominees, and you know, Serena and Venus, you are such marvels. However, you do not play against the guys. Like I have to.
Notice her face. I want you to notice her face. Notice how, first off, how would you feel if somebody gave you a compliment and then the very next thing they say is, however? That seems, and they've always given black people, specifically since we're talking about Venus and Serena, backhanded compliments. You specifically said them, and then they are like, yeah, you guys you're marvels. However, she looking like, really? Hold on, she said, however, you don't have to go up against the guys, and her face is all like, really, bitch? Like, are you serious? Did you really just say that? And then you saw she kind of had to do this like awkward laugh afterwards. Like, that wasn't a sincere laugh. That was like okay, all right then, type of dig. And if you notice too, she was the only one who didn't clap. She was the only one who wasn't clapping after she was done. Now Jane Champion came out with an apology talking about how sorry she was and all that. We don't need to get into that because she did that on purpose. She mentioned that she tried to give them praise on purpose So because she knew she was going in to throw shade, and she didn't want it to seem like, damn, she just being bogus as hell for no reason. So she was all like, oh my God, you guys are so wonderful. And then notice how she said, however, I can't do tennis. However, you don't do something that I do. You don't have to compete against the guys like I do. So really what she said is, yeah, you're better at tennis than me. However, I'm kind of better than you because I'm going against men and you're not going against men. I'm in a different lane than you guys. She didn't say this when it came to any of the white female directors that was nominated. If there was, I'm not even sure. Okay. She didn't say anything about any other female director. She specifically went out of them. That's that backhanded compliment. Notice how she laughs like a box. Her teeth just kind of shine like a box. So that's the digs that black women have to go through when it comes to sports. Okay. Speaking of sports too, something else I wanted to bring up. Okay. I wanted to bring this up for a while. Okay. Sha'Carri Richardson, and I know we've talked about Sha'Carri before. Sha'Carri Richardson calls out Olympic double standard. I'm gonna read this article real quick. Hopefully I can see it. The article is very small. Okay. Let me see. And you know I'm not good when it comes to pronouncing Russian names, but I will try my best. Brother Dylan is in here. What's up, Dylan? News that Russian athlete Camilla V, I'm just gonna say that, suspension would be lifted despite testing positive for a banded drug sent shockwaves through the world for figure skating. Okay, so she was a figure skater. She got tested for steroids. She didn't get tested for marijuana. Notice they're not saying this. Sha'Carri got banded for marijuana specifically. Oh, you smoked weed. We got marijuana in your system. You can't play in the Olympics. The rules is the rules. Now, they always do that when it comes to black women, when it comes to black people in general, but we're talking about black women in this this broadcast. They do that a lot when it comes to, the rules. They're allowing grown-ass trans men who very recently made a transition into being a woman. They very recently made a transition into being a woman, and now they get to compete in women's sports, and they're like, well, I mean, okay, I mean, we got to make an exception. Now, they were just banning, in this same Olympics, they were banning biological real women, black women, from not being able to compete, talking about your testosterone levels are too high. Your testosterone levels are too high, so you can't compete. So when it comes to the rules is the rules, depending on what they need it to be. That's that white and I'm white and I say so. Okay, because the rules are supposed to help them win and make us lose. So they're always remixing the rules and changing the rules around. Okay, so the standard is any drug in your system at all, you get banned from the Olympics. Okay, except if you're a Russian Nazi, or let me not say allegedly, because I don't want nobody, oh yeah, how do you know she's not Nazi? Okay, let's see. With views that athletes drawing parallels to the drug tests and other Olympians, Sha'Carri Richardson, the U.S. sprinter, who was barred from last summer's Tokyo Games for marijuana use. Let me get down. Hold on. Let me see something. I'm not sure what's going on here. Hold on, family. I don't know why it's not scrolling down. Let me see something. Okay, hold on. Technical difficulty. I have to look at this. Oh, yeah. It's not letting me read the rest without trying. Okay, well, I don't need to read the rest. We already know. That's one of the 9 areas of human activity. Is one of the 9 areas. Okay. Now, let's talk about this. Let us talk about this situation, and then we got to get into some other situations, right? And then we're gonna take in calls too, because I didn't do it Monday. I was on the channel with Torian Rain, because we were doing that hashtag Save Mason Tennessee. Okay, so don't forget, we're still on that. I'm gonna put I forgot to do it, but I'm gonna put the link in the description after I'm done with the video. But notice the double standards when it comes to the rules. When it comes to the rules of black women playing, okay, well, you're just too masculine. Okay, well, we can't, it's the rules. The rules is the rules. You smoked a little bit of weed, you can't play in the Olympics. Doesn't matter, you can't play. Okay, well, she's doing body enhancing drugs. I mean, but she's already so far in, it'd be criminal not to let her play at this point. I mean, just don't let her do it again next time. It's when it comes to white people breaking the rules or bending the rules, just, hey, we'll let you slide this time. Don't do it again next time. When it comes to the rules, when it comes to black people, now we're talking about women because they're having trans men, white trans men. Notice there's a racial element with that too. And I keep going back to, I'm looking something up because I wanted to see, because there's a post I need to discuss. Let me see. Where is it actually? It's not all the way down here. Okay, hold on. I can't. Okay, notice, because people want to talk about how what misogynoir or whatever. I don't know. People want to talk about that. Notice too, though. Notice you don't ever see a white or a black trans person competing in female sports. You don't see that at all whatsoever, period. Okay? Let me see something. Retweets, let me see. I'm looking for this one thing because I'm going to talk about this. Can't believe it's so far. Okay. Can't believe it's so far down. There's so much I talk about on a daily basis, I guess. Let me see. Let me see. Where is it? Hold on. Okay, there it is. I found it. Now, let me see where I was. I apologize for that. You don't see black trans men. You don't see that. You see white men. This is a part of white privilege. Let me put this back up here because we got to remember this. This has to be ingrained in our memory. This is a part of white privilege. You do not see, now you're seeing time and time again, they're going in the mixed martial arts, they're going in swimming, they're going in basketball, they're doing this on a college level too now. This isn't just a national, like a professional level, they're doing this on a college level, they're doing this with sprinting, track, they're doing this with all these elements, okay? Where you have grown men who recently go through, and sometimes they don't even have to go through a whole sex change. You can have a grown dude with a penis talking about, well, I identify with being a woman, so now I get to compete with biological women, and now you guys have to call me a woman because that's what I said I am. You notice how black trans people don't do that? And see, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to the black LGBT being used by the white LGBT, because you guys are everything trans, you guys are greenlighting that, and you're not seeing that does not apply to you. You're not saying you're still a Negro before you identify as whatever you want to identify as. Anything else comes after the dominant society seeing you as a Negro. You guys have to understand that. Okay? You have to understand that. We got to push back against that. We have to push back against that, okay? Because when people ask, now I made a post, okay, gender is not something that can be changed. Now, let me break that down for you guys. Let's really break that down, okay? Because if we look at this from a biological standpoint, because most schools, now they say, oh, you haven't studied this subject, you haven't studied this subject. Most schools are very left-leaning, where they teach a lot of things from like the left-wing side of white supremacy. So a lot of them do promote transgenderism, and a lot of them do promote that stuff over there. This goes into, in the 9 areas of human activity, our brother Neely Fuller has said this. This goes into the sex area, okay? When it comes to this is the confusion, all right? When you are born, listen. Now, I don't care what you want to identify as. Let me preface that. What you choose to identify as, if you're saying I'm a man, I'm a woman, okay, all right, okay. If you say I want to change my pronouns, all right then. But this is bigger than that. Okay? Okay, because now we're breaching a level that's a dangerous thing to breach. Okay, and I've talked about this before. All right? when it comes to these things, and I brought this up in the video I did about the transgenderism being a window to pedophilia, them using transgenderism. This is not calling all transgenders pedophiles, because that's what you're always gaslighting me with. That's not saying that. I will link it in the description below afterwards, but I encourage you guys to listen to that, okay? But if you are born a male, your body creates chromosomes. You have chromosomes, you have a skeletal system, you have different organs in different places, you have a prostate, you have different things that the female body does not have, okay? The female body has different things naturally by design that the male body does not have. Now, in very, very, very rare, less than 1% rare cases, will you see a hermaphrodite, someone who's with a little bit of both, okay? Now, you do have male and female DNA inside of every person, but you're overall one person. You're overall a male, like, even if you have female DNA, and you're overall a female, even if you have some male DNA. Now, there are some people whose genitalia is messed up at birth, or you might see they might have, and we're going to get a little graphic, they might have a vagina and they might have a penis or something like that. In those very rare, less than 1% cases, even still, that person is mostly one sex. Even still, if a woman is born who does have a penis, and I believe Lady Gaga was born a hermaphrodite, they have what's called a micropenis, which is a real scientific term. Okay, that's a penis that's only like a centimeter or so. That's something, and normally with operation that gets chopped off. It's not you're in the smack dab mix of both of them. Okay, so when you're born one thing, you can only truly be one thing. You can't really change. Even when they're having these, and we're talking science. We're talking science. This isn't my opinion. This is researched and documented science. Even when they go through the sex changes in all of these things, they have to keep going back because, like Torian said, the XY chromosomes, the chromosomes are going to keep producing the chromosome. You can't change that. They have to take things that suppresses, because males produce testosterone, females produce estrogen, right? Now, males produce a level of estrogen, females produce a level of testosterone, but it's overwhelmingly one thing. So they have to take pills to suppress their testosterone. I naturally grow facial hair. Most men naturally grow facial hair. They don't have to take a pill to add the testosterone to grow facial hair. My body naturally produces enough testosterone to grow facial hair. This does not mean, for the people who's gonna try to gaslight me, this does not mean if a male cannot grow a beard, he is not a male. That's not what that means, okay? Genetics play a part too, but I'm just talking in general. We don't have to do that. Now, if a trans person is taking pills to grow a beard, and they stop taking the pills, they will stop growing the beard because their body does not naturally produce that, okay? Just like if you're doing that from the female perspective. They have to keep taking pills so they won't grow facial hair. The second they stop taking those pills, their body will start going back to normal and their body will start growing facial hair. This is very well documented too, okay? This is why when Donald Trump was talking about he's not going to support the transgender pills and the supplements in the military, they was talking about, oh, you're not allowing trans in the military. That's not technically what was going on. And I'm not a Donald Trump stan. I'm just saying what was going on. Because because you have a default setting and it will always go back to that, scientifically speaking. And I'm going to open up the phone line, so if anybody disagrees, they can voice their opinion. But scientifically speaking, it will always go back to the default. That's why they keep having to go take these pills. They keep having to go get operations. They keep having to go get surgeries, okay? So we have to be realistic with that and not be confused about the 9 areas of human activity when it comes to sex, all right? So when they're doing the thing where they're talking about, well, gender is a concept. Gender is a concept. And when I said this, I was like, okay, well, gender, okay, if gender is a concept, and I said this in a broadcast I did before, time is technically a concept. Time is technically a concept. That's what they say. So if somebody was to say, and this is happening, okay, this is actually something that happened, so much so that the news reported on it with this one case. If somebody was to say, I don't identify as a male or a female, that opens the door, that opens the Pandora's box for them to say, I don't identify as an adult. I identify as a child. To me, I'm really 7. That's how I identify as. Now, that happened in one case where a grown white man who was married and had children, this was reported on the news, a grown white man who was married and had children, became a trans person. Next thing you know, he says, I identify as a 6-year-old. Okay? And he got his documentation changed to where he is now a 6-year-old. This grown white man who has a child had to get a divorce from his wife, okay? And then he got adopted by 2 white families, by 2 white couples who have a 6-year-old. So you have this grown man who identifies as a 6-year-old who is playing and sleeping in the same room with another 6-year-old girl. This has actually been on the news, okay? I don't want to, because it was very hard for me to find that clip in general, so it's going to take me ages to find that clip. But that was actually, you can look this up yourself. And I will link the thing is my video, and let me see what the title is, so you guys can research that when you guys get some free time. Let me see what the title is of that. Let me see real quick. Come on, computer, don't be acting slow. Okay. Oh, don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe, family. Subscribe. Share and like. Do all of them. Don't matter which order you do them in. Please do them, family. Let's see. Okay. It was in the live. Let me see. It was. Let me see. Where was it? Come on. What was the title of it? That's all I need. All I need is the title of it. Okay, here's the title of it. Y'all ready? It was pedophilia through transgenderism. Okay? Pedophilia through transgenderism. Actually, I'm gonna post that on my Twitter because that needs to be. Let me post that because that needs to be watched. Actually, family, we gotta know this stuff. We have to know this. So watch that after this. Don't leave here, but watch that after. Okay? So this leads me now. We're talking about black women being dehumanized.
The people of Ukraine.
Okay, so that leads me to, let me close that because I don't want the ad popping up. That leads me to, now, warning, this might be graphic for some viewers, but I'm showing this in the case of black empowerment, right? Okay, looking at it through this way. Now, before we go on, let me state, I don't have any issue with trans personally. If you are a trans person, okay. I'm not trying to harm any trans person. I don't condone the harming of trans people because that's something that's always, you just condoning the murder. I'm not condoning any harm or murder done, okay, to anybody. Even if you are trans, even if you are straight, that doesn't matter, okay? I'm saying we have to understand that they are using that as a tactic against us, okay? And we need, and I made a space not too long ago of black people getting out of their feelings. We need you guys to get out of your feelings and understand the strategy, okay? Now, let's look at this, all right? Okay? This is a picture of, let me see. Oh, we got to get the likes up, family, brothers and sisters. Can we please get the likes up? Okay, this is a picture of, Joy Smith. She's an actress with her husband. He's an actor, I guess, too. I don't know his name. I don't really know them like that. But I'm seeing a lot of people praising this picture, talking about, oh my God, this is love. This is love. Now, I'm not going to zoom in. I'm glad it's a little dark right here. She is actually completely starch naked. She is butt naked. It's not like she's in underwear, lingerie, a bikini, or anything. She's not wearing a stitch of clothing in this picture. Okay? And you see the fully clothed white owner grabbing onto her backside. So I made, okay, this is and I'm seeing through the quote retweets a whole bunch of bed wenches talking about, oh my God, now this is love. Oh my God, she looks so happy. She's so fine. Oh, why can't I find somebody like this? They're praising this, okay? And I said the amount of bed wenches praising this picture, this disgusting racist filth makes me want to throw up. This is racist. Now, first off, okay, everybody knows I have opinions about interracial relationships. I don't make comments on every single celebrity's interracial relationships, okay? I don't. Because it's not that big of a deal to me, okay? There's a lot of things I look at and I'm all like, well, I mean, that's them. That's just gonna be them. And I scroll past that. I don't make a comment on every single thing. This is a big deal, though. This goes back into the 9 areas of human activity, which is sex, okay? Look, I want you guys to look at this. Now, in the comments, right, they're sitting up there trolling me. I'm going to look at some of them. Some of them talking about, let me see this. Some of them, there was one, okay. Look at this one. I've noticed a large percent of men with no power or influence are the hardest on their women and children because they're the only things in their control. Okay. They're deliberately trying to gaslight me and make me seem, because there was people calling me bitter, jealous. I hate him because he's wealthy and I hate her because she's wealthy. First off, I only know her from one single movie, and that was Queen and Slim. Only one. I don't know this dude at all. I don't know who he is. I've known they've been married since 2019, okay? Now she's talking about I have no power and influence and I'm hard on women. If anything, now notice too, these are the same ones who will call black men misogynist, sexist, and all that for putting a woman in a music video and having her dance in a music video, which, okay, if you want to make that argument, you can make that argument. However, you can't make the argument that having a woman in a music video is sexist and misogynist and then dismiss the fact that you have a white man pretty much displaying a naked black woman. Okay, you can't miss that fact. And by gaslighting, I'm gaslighting proof. Okay, gaslighting me is not going to work. There's a whole bunch of people sitting up there. Oh my God. Now, what was really disappointing to me is the bed wenches, specifically this one. Okay, because she's the one who did the most. I guess got the most clout. All right, we got to look at her profile. Okay, them damn pronoun people. Okay, it's always something in common with people who got the pronouns in the damn bio. I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Now, she was going back for, it's a thing from IKEA, right? Now, I'm trying to look to see exactly. Now, so you know, I'm not stating, this picture too. This picture too. They tried to use the inappropriate images coming up, okay? They tried to use this picture as a way to say, okay, well, what do you mean? Nobody's saying this is, first off, this is still a white man and a black woman. 2, they are both undressed. I'm not going to show that for that long, but they are both not dressed. It's one thing, you can almost argue that it's art when they're both undressed. If you say, that's the art of the human body or whatever, the male and the female human body or something, that's art. You can make that argument. You can't make that argument when the male is fully dressed and the woman is completely naked. You can't make the argument that that is art. That's the display of ownership, of sexual objectification, of dehumanizing. Okay, let me see her comment. Okay, she says, "Why is this racist filth?" Okay, so I reply, and I'm not gonna go through all of this, but at one point she made up, okay, that I want to get to. If you do not understand white supremacy, sorry, I can't really see it. If you understood white supremacy, you'd easily tell. Society would never allow a white woman celebrity to be sexually objectified by a black man the way the white man is doing to a black woman. Okay, never, ever, ever. Even the rappers, they've always given smoke to the rappers when it comes to sexually objectifying models. This is his wife. This is his actual wife that he's doing this to. Okay, so here she goes. She brought up Kim Kardashian, question mark, question mark, question mark. Also, I'm pretty sure she doesn't, I'm pretty sure she consented to the picture being taken. Don't be worried about how other folks celebrate one another. Just do you. Okay. Now, shout out to our sister. She was in it. I'm not sure if she's still in here. Shout out to some of our sisters. I'm not saying all black women was on this page, because I saw a whole bunch of black women talking about, no, I don't approve of this. I don't approve of this whatsoever. Specifically our sister Nikki, she was fighting against it. That woman blocked her. Listen, speaking of Kim Kardashian, even though how naked of Kim Kardashian has been her entire career, you've never seen Kim Kardashian being fully naked, standing next to a fully clothed Kanye West. You've never seen that, and you never would see that. They're not going to allow a non-black, especially a white woman, to stand next to a fully clothed white man. They're not going to allow that because the optics, okay? They don't like that optic of, okay, this shows dominance in ownership. We're not going to have the image out there of a black man owning a white woman. Even when they do in certain cases in like porn or for example, let's get real. They always show the black, they don't show it in the black man in a tuxedo and he's a sophisticated owner of like a woman who's on a, they're not doing that in an objectifying way. They do that in the way they make the black men look like some type of beast or animal when they do that. And that's just in that field. That's just important. They don't praise that on social media. Okay? They're looking at that almost like animalism. That's kind of how they look at that. So that's the sexual objectification of a black woman that we got to push back against. We have to push back against that. They wouldn't allow this. This goes, and let me show you again, this goes back to the 9 areas of human activity under the sex category. They wouldn't allow a black man or a black man to dominate or to show ownership of a non-black woman. Okay, notice too, she's non-FBA. She's her parents she's from Britain, but her parents are from the Caribbean. Okay. All of these, and now I'm gonna call them bedwenches, not black women, because all black women wasn't like that. Okay, they weren't like that, and this is why it's important to know history. It's important to know history, because if you know about Sarah Bartman, okay, oftentimes in slavery, they would often display naked black men and women just around. They would just display them around as objects, okay? Because this helps push the narrative, this helps push the ideology that black people are subhuman, okay? When they over-sexualize black women, that helps push the narrative, even if it's not consciously, but subconsciously, that black women, they're kind of sexualized beast. They do that with black men too, but we're talking about black women specifically in this specific broadcast. They push that, talking about this is they're like beast like. So when they do that, they dehumanize to a large degree. They dehumanize black women. Okay, and this is very bad because this doesn't even affect the adults. This affects the little girls too. All right, so when they dehumanize that, then it makes it easier to look over harmful things that have happened to them. Okay, you just got the cop who shot and murdered Breonna Taylor. You just got him getting off, and he was only in trouble for shooting into the next door apartment. He was only in trouble for what they call blinding endangerment or something of the sort, for shooting, I guess, shooting through a window without looking, and that went into like the wall of another person's apartment or something like that. Okay, he didn't even get in trouble for murdering her. All right, you can talk about Sandra Bland. You can talk about Tatiana Jefferson. We can bring up other black women who, with the narrative of these black women are subhuman. Okay, they do this with black men too, but when they put black people in a subhuman category, which is why Jim Crow was such a bad thing. When they can do that, when they do that through the media, which Jim Crow really started with jokes in media, which is why, let me put this back up here, it's important for us to know history when it comes to entertainment. Jim Crow started with entertainment. Okay? We're getting deep with this. When it comes to entertainment can play a lot. When we listen to certain things and we hear certain things, that goes into our subconscious mind, which is why it's important for you to pay attention to what you're watching and what you're listening to. That plays into the subconscious mind. So when they play stereotypes in entertainment, that can play into the subconscious mind, and that can help them justify harmful acts to black people. So when they're putting this out there, and I call this out and I say, this is racism, okay? It doesn't matter what they do personally. I'm not in their business personally. They're the ones who took the picture and put it on the internet. I'm not stalking them. They've been married for years now. They've been taking pictures for years now. I've never made a comment on any other picture except that one, because that one is sexually objectification, and that one is dangerous to black women specifically, okay? That's dangerous to them. So while the bed wenches, not black women, but the bed wenches was saying that I'm bitter or I'm jealous, there's nothing to be jealous of. First off, I'm not married, but if I was, I would never display my wife like that. Just have her starch naked on a balcony and having my hand on her ass, like, look at my prize slave right here. Look at my mammy right here. That is sexual objectification, family. And they know that because they would never allow that to go on with anybody else. All right? That's the same thing that they would do with Sarah Bartman. That's the same thing. Displaying the person naked, okay? That also controls the way the person sees themselves. Clothing is the actual big thing. If people don't understand that, clothing is a big thing. Okay? When you're forced to be naked in front of a group of people, you kind of it kind of dehumanizes yourself. It affects the way you view yourself to an extent. So you're not even viewing yourself as a dignified human being if you're forced to be displayed naked in front of a group of people. Okay? So it's not like just mind your business type thing. If a couple, for example, if it was a white woman who has a noose around a black man's neck, and it was all like cheese. Now, specifically, hold on. I came up with a great example, family. Hold on. Okay, I found a great example. Ooh, I'm glad I thought of this. I'm glad I thought of this. Family, do you all remember, and let me make this a little bit bigger. Do you all remember these pictures? Where is the, okay. Do y'all remember these pictures? Let me make this a little bit bigger for y'all. These pictures with this black dude was dressing up, and some people suspect that he's non-FBA as well too. But this black dude was dressing up as a slave, and he had these are wedding pictures with a slavery themed wedding pictures where this dude is wearing chains and she's taking the chains off, and they getting like these. And this isn't the only one. There was another dude, a black dude with a white woman, and he was kissing her in a cotton field. Okay, now we were right for calling that out. We're right for calling those things out, because that stuff isn't okay. Just mind your business. Mind your business. That's a form of buck breaking, which is harmful to black people. That's a form of objectation, making somebody an object, objectifying, which is harmful to black people. So, mind you too, nobody ever said, when we called those pictures out, because those went viral, and we called those pictures out, nobody said, oh, mind your business, you shouldn't be in other people's business, you just sound bitter. Nobody ever said that when we called those pictures out. But when we call out one of their white zaddies, when we call out one of them, then it's, oh, mind your business, mind your business, mind your business. No. Okay, that's sexual objectification, and I'm not gonna stand for it. And our B1 sisters, our riders, are not gonna stand for that either. And I'm glad that it was a collective pushback against that. Okay, I'm very glad that it was a collective pushback against that. Let me get the phone lines ready. Hold on, because I didn't do one. I was on Torian Rain's channel. You guys should go check that out. Check his channel out and subscribe to him. I was on his channel, and we were talking about Mason, Tennessee. Okay. So we were talking about Mason, Tennessee, and we didn't do the phone thing. Normally I do that Mondays, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't get a chance to do that Mondays. Let me see. So let me get okay, give me 1 second. Let me do the countdown thing. Oh, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, family, or do it in whatever way you prefer to do it. Okay, let me get this up here while I'm getting this thing. Okay, I'm back. Let me see something. Real quick. Oh boy. Okay. Damn. What the hell is this on? I'm trying to get this thing. Hold on. Let me see something. Okay. All right. Here we go. The call-in number. Let me put that up here right now. First come, first serve. You guys know the deal. You guys know how we do. First come, first serve. Do right here. Okay. So the call-in number is 415-969-2941. Okay. That's 415-969-2941. Okay. Now, exactly. Torian Rain brought it up. They claim they don't want to be fetishized, but when a white man does it, they go into La La Land. So it's not fetishism. I can't speak right now. It's not fetishization when they do it. That's love. That is love when they do it. Okay. Can you just join on StreamYard instead? Let me see. I don't really have I'm not on StreamYard actually. Maybe you know what? Maybe I'm gonna start doing that because I feel like that is a little bit easier. I'm on Streamlabs, so they don't have like a join in thing. I'm on Streamlabs. That's the software that I'm using. I'm probably going to, since you bring that up, and I'm glad you bring that up, I'm probably going to do a thing where maybe I do StreamYard on Mondays and then Streamlab because I like them. I like both of them. I like them both. But yeah, I don't have a thing like that. Let me see. Okay, but we have a number here. Caller, can you hear us? What's your name, brother? Or sister?
Yeah, this is Dylan. What's good with y'all?
What's going on, Dylan? Hey, can you speak up? Can you speak up just a little bit?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, family, can you hear him? Okay, yeah, keep going.
No. Oh, okay. Alright, yeah. Well, how everybody doing? Yeah, so I came in like halfway through the video, but I get a good understanding of what's going on. When you was talking about that, the man that was like 40 years old and he changed himself to like a 6-year-old and he had to basically like destroy his whole life and whatnot. I had a situation. Well, I didn't have a situation like that, but one of my homegirls.
Hold on. Can you guys hear him? Can you guys? I don't know if they can hear you. Hold on. Let me see if I can do something to make the audio a little bit louder. Actually, let me see if I can do something to make the audio a little bit louder because I want them to be able to hear you. Unfortunately, too many times that happens. Give me just 1 second. Give me just 1 second, bro. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, you said yeah, but he's low. He's low. Okay, hold on. Actually, hold your thought. Actually, let me go up. Let me go do something. I know how to make you a lot louder. Hold on. Y'all, I'll be right back. Oh, I'm gonna keep the number up here. Y'all call in, save your thoughts. Let me see.
Power on.
Okay.
Bluetooth.
I gotta
Bluetooth connected.
I'm gonna use my speaker. Let me see. I'm gonna use my speaker real quick. Hold on. They got other devices connected to it. So give me 1 second while I'm working on this. I had to go get the speaker for our brother. Can you hear Dylan better now?
Yeah, let me know if y'all can hear me.
Hopefully they can hear you. Can you hear him better?
I know.
Just try to talk as loud as you can, I guess.
Alright. where what you was talking about earlier, Jay, about the dude that he basically like wanted to be a 6-year-old and he changed his whole life and really just messed up his whole life so he could be a 6-year-old child. Well, I had a female friend of mine have a similar situation with that because a dude was trying, like some old 50-year-old dude was like trying to flirt with her, and she was real creeped out by it, and she was just like, I'm underage, and he was just like, well, I'm 20. I identify as 20 years old, so yeah, that's definitely very nasty. That is very nasty.
Absolutely, and this is perverted too. Okay, and that's the danger. That's the danger of that wiggle room. Once you allow, one thing, it's very hard to keep. Once the cat is out of the bag, you can't put the cat in the bag. You know, the genie's out the bottle, or whatever they say. It's hard to say you can change your gender because that's a social construct, but you can't change your age. People have done that, and that's actually been documented. It was on was it ABC or some news channel? Okay, so that's a real thing that's going on. And then when we bring it up, they want to gaslight us, which is why I'm saying we shouldn't be afraid of them gaslighting us at all. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
and to that the white dude that was having the black woman naked and all that, and yeah, that right there looked like it looked like he was just showing off his little sex toys, just like, oh, look what I got here. I got my own nigger sex toy right here. Look what I got. That's what that looked like to me. So I definitely understand where you coming from, as that looks very racist. That looked like a slave, like yeah, I didn't like how that looked either. And then like you'll never see a black dude doing that with a white woman ever. Never, you'll never see that. The only time they do that is where the black man or the black woman, for any case, is where they try to make them look like some animal, like monkey type thing. Like I saw one picture where LeBron James, it was like a magazine cover, and LeBron James, they tried to make him look like King Kong or some shit, and there was like a perfectly sweet white girl just sitting right there and whatnot, and I don't know, but I definitely understood that too.
actually, and I know what picture you're talking about. And,
Yeah,
and she
like
wasn't naked either.
Like
yeah. She wasn't naked either, but yeah, it was on a magazine where they the kind of the way they set the photo up, it kind of gave like King Kong vibes. Let me see.
Yeah. Yeah, King Kong vibe.
Let's see.
And I don't know. Yeah, that's not. And then Jay, I think I actually sent you one of the pictures of them cool niggas taking the marriage pictures with in the cotton fields and whatnot. It was some light skinned coon, and he was with his white woman, and they was like making out in the cotton field, and he was picking the cotton, and oh my God, I can't, I really can't with them dudes, man.
Yeah. I can't either. And my point is when it comes to objectifying black people, you got to make a stance for black men and black women, okay? That's why I don't play this whole gender divide thing. You don't see me just talking about black male issues. I talk about black male issues, black women issues, because they are all black issues. 100%. Mm-hmm. Now, we have to understand, and this is why I keep pushing this, the 9 areas of activity, because white supremacy comes at us through different angles. The same way they come at black men is not necessarily going to be the same way they come at black women. But better believe that white supremacy is coming at black men and black women both, and that's why we both need to stand up and fight it, okay? Now, there will be some avenues where they will come at black men more. There will be some avenues that will come at black women more too, okay? I made a post recently talking about how black women are 40% more likely to die of breast cancer than white women. Okay? That is because of medical racism. Okay, so that's something that affects black women more than affects black men, because women get breast cancer more often than men do. Men can, so you guys know, men can get breast cancer, but it's way more likely that a woman gets breast cancer. So that's one of the fields. So you get it in different fields, which is why I don't like the black man is the white man of the black community. I do not play that. That's yeah. I don't play that. I don't like it when they say the black man have white male. Oh, you might be black, so you face racism, but you have male privilege. No, you do not understand white supremacy if you're saying that, because they do not respect the manhood of a black man. So how can you say we have male privilege?
Yeah, exactly. If I'm not mistaken, now that you brought up the breast cancer thing, if I'm not mistaken, are black women way more likely to die during pregnancy than white women, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, that's true too. That's true as well.
Yeah.
So.
And us men, we can't really go through that, but yeah, like you said, there's definitely things that black women are obviously gonna face more than us, and then there's things that black men are gonna face more than the black woman, but it's still a black issue, no matter what. I don't believe in that gender divide thing, so, because, you got some of them coon black women that come on here talking about, black men, y'all disrespect us all the time, and y'all always hurting us and whatnot. That's why we're going to go find us some white men. We're going to go find us some white men. Is that a...
Actually, that's something that they were saying.
They get on my nerves.
In the replies, that's something that they said to me.
They get on my nerves.
See, I'm looking at the chat. That's what they were saying. Well, anybody better than... There was one chick, and I'm not sure if she was even a black chick, because she used some type of cartoon as her profile. But they was all like, yeah, anybody is better than a black man. Anybody. I'm all like, so you're saying white men. Now, you've never seen a black men do to Sarah Bartman what white men have done to her. You've never seen that. There's things you've never seen, okay? And they're talking about anybody's better. Look, a lot of them, let's be real, a lot of them are not foundational. A lot of them aren't.
Oh, of course.
A lot of them are in the LGBT cult, and I'm not saying that every LGBT person is in this, but I'm saying that those are the people who turn their sexuality into some type of cult, and they have to cultivate against black people, specifically the black men. But they're the ones who will call a black woman biphobic if she doesn't want to date a bisexual man. So they have like a cult thing going on.
I think I showed you this video. It was a while ago, so I wouldn't be mad if you don't remember. But it was this white gay dude, and he was basically saying that, if you call yourself a straight male, that's homophobic.
I remember that. I remember.
A cis male, and that's oppressing gay people, and I don't know what the hell was wrong with that dude, but don't ever call me no sis or whatever the hell they were saying.
Exactly. First off, and I've told them specifically. Now I'm all like, this is supposed to be the age of respecting what people want to identify as. Just call me a male. Just call me. If you want, you can't ask for a level of respect, and then deny giving that same person the same level of respect. I'm all like, okay, if you have your pronouns and you're on it when it comes to people getting your pronouns correct, and then if I say, hey, I prefer I don't like that cis additive. Don't add that. Just call me a man. Call me a male. Oh no, you're a cis male. You are a cis male. I'm all like, okay, well, now the second I call you something that you don't identify with, or you ask me not to call you, then oh my God, this is misogynist, transphobic, homophobic, this is all of that. So come on now. Now with the cis thing, right? I remember that video where you were talking about, where the guy was talking about cis, calling a man straight. If I say I'm a straight male, that's homophobic. That is just homophobic. To identify as straight, then, and if you can, I'm gonna see if I can find that video. To identify as straight is homophobic, so we should just identify ourselves as cis or childbearing or something like of a sort like that.
There's another thing he said in the video too. He said if you don't want to date a gay dude or if you don't want to date a transgender, that's homophobic as well. Look, I'm sorry, but I like my females without a dick. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you can't handle that, but I like my women without penises. Okay.
Yeah. Me too. That's my preference as well.
I don't know.
Me too.
I don't know what to tell you. Man.
You know, and that's not really, I mean, you think about it, that's not a very hard bar to climb. Now, let me make this announcement real quick. Let me make this announcement very quickly. Somebody said that they would like to get on and they would like to debate me about what I've been saying on my Twitter recently. Now, when it comes to my live debates, they always say they're going to join, and now they're nowhere to be found. Now, I sent this link to him.
They never join.
I sent this link to him. He's not in here, or at least he hasn't let me know that he's in here. So I'm trying to research to find out where all this energy went. Where did all the energy go of you going to debate me? It says, I'm in the chat. I will call. Oh, he's in the chat. Okay. Okay, well, oh, there you go. Because you didn't say anything in the chat room, so I had to look at you. Okay. I think this might be him now, Dylan. Let me let you get the last word, and then we get to the next caller.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna because I want to see this dude. Because you know most people that say they gonna call this never actually do. Because it took Kid Gerbo like 9 million years to call up. So
yeah,
you know I'm excited for this. So dude that's after me, you go ahead and debate and do whatever you gotta do. Y'all subscribe to my channel, Dallas Dilly. Y'all leave a like on Afro Elite. Y'all get the merchandise. Definitely get the merchandise. And yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna catch y'all later.
All right, that's our brother Dylan. Y'all gotta go check our brother Dylan out. I'm not sure if this is the guy. I'm not sure, but let's see. Caller, you're on live.
I am on live. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Can anybody hear me? Am I audible?
They're saying that they can barely hear you. I'm not sure why. I don't know what's going on. Okay, talk now.
All right. Okay. How audible am I right now? Actually, not. 1 second. Maybe on speakerphone will be better. All right, I am on speaker.
Family, can you guys hear him better?
I hear nothing.
From 1 to 10, what would you guys rate this? From like 1 to 10, 10 being perfect, and 1 being can't hear him at all. Because I don't want us to go into this and then they can't hear anything. Okay. Why don't you talk so they can hear what you sound like?
Hey, my name's Tajma John with the YouTube channel Bars and Joysticks. At Tajma John on Twitter. My Twitter, pseudo. So right now that's NATO stand. I'm a 5. You guys saying I'm a 5 or a 4?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're looking at you.
That's like a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, they're looking at you very low. Okay. I'm not sure what I can do. I'm not. Man, it's a 5. That's unfortunate. I'm not sure how to fix that. Actually, y'all give me a second. I think I got another method that's gonna make this a lot louder too. Stay on the phone and
okay.
Let me get another second. Hold on. Can you guys hear him better now? Can you talk now?
Yeah. Hey, my name's with the YouTube channel Bars and Joysticks. How's it going, everybody?
Is it any better now?
Coming from the. Oh, I can hear myself on the stream.
Okay. So it's better now, right? It went up from a 5. We can at least do a 7. I don't want it to be that bad. If it's you said I'm muted.
It's gotta be at least a 7.
It's lower now. Somebody says it's lower now.
What? It's lower now?
Yeah, on the is lower.
I can't believe that.
Tia says yes. It says run it. We can hear it now. Okay, I guess this is as best as we can do. Next time when I do this, I will just do a StreamYard, so that probably will fix the audio problem. I'm not sure how to make this any louder. Okay, but go ahead with your stance.
Yeah, StreamYard's great. Yeah, StreamYard's awesome. I think it takes less RAM or whatever than OBS, because you have the OBS running through the computer, right, versus through the browser.
Yeah, but okay, but
yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, that was a side tangent. That's a pain point for me as well. Yeah, so pretty much I was responding. You said on Twitter, got a lot of likes on that tweet, man. I guess the tweet got a lot of traction saying gender is permanent by birth gender. Wait, gender is permanent by birth gender. By birth, gender is not something that can be changed. Oh, gender is permanent by birth. Gender is something that cannot be changed. Okay, got it. Yeah. So as you mentioned earlier, you were talking about people that were like things like hermaphrodites, people that had like sexual organs of a male and a female at the same time, and things like that. So that kind of begs the question, like, what gender? How would you determine that person's gender? Say if they had like ovaries and a dick, or if they had like testicles and a vajayjay. Like, how would you determine their gender? Would they be calling themselves a man when they're an adult, or a woman when they grow up?
Okay. The human body is not fully based off of what makes somebody a male or a female biologically is not only damn, somebody says I'm lower. How am I lower? The thing that makes a person a male or a female is not only their genitalia. You have way more factors in the human body than that. Okay?
I agree.
So just because somebody's genitalia might show that they're a hermaphrodite doesn't mean that changes their chromosomes, doesn't mean that changes their skeletal system, doesn't mean that changes their skin density, their bone density, even their brain. You know what I'm saying? So all of the what makes a person a male or a female is the whole, all of it, every aspect, not just what private parts the person might have. And even with the hermaphrodites, as I explained, those are very, very, very less than 1% cases. And even with those cases, that person is mostly female, mostly one sex, just like Lady Gaga. I believe. Please don't say I'm slandering if it's not Lady Gaga, but I believe it was Lady Gaga who was born with a micro penis. That's a penis that's not actually a functioning penis. It's never going to work. It's just a birth defect that was fixed as a baby. So
yeah, I see what you're saying, and I agree that it's more than just like the sexual organs that someone has to determine their gender. Gender is just like, it is a social construct. It's how one identifies as an adult male or an adult female. That's what I call a man versus a woman. But would you say that's more in the brain? Like, say, all right, you know how we can like exchange kidneys? But like, if you need a kidney, I can give you one of my kidneys, or if I need one of your kidneys, you can give me mine, possibly for a good match biologically.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that one day people can do that with brains? Like, say, like 20, 40 years down the line, and there's some sort of like weird hodgepodge science where you can freaking donate your brain to a different body, or switch your brain to a completely different body. Someone asked me this one time, and it kind of made me think, because I do think it's more brain focused, or more brain aligned versus the genitals. So this is how I feel. My gender matches my sex right now. I have a can I say penis? I have a penis. I have a brain. That's a male brain. I'm in a male body. I watch female body. But if someone took my brain, and say like if my body got destroyed in like a car accident or some crazy shit, and they put my brain in like a female body, I would still want to be called a male because I identify as a male. What are your thoughts? Like, is it possible
that someone could be born with like a female brain but have a male body?
Okay, well, to answer that question, I have to ask another question. What makes a brain a female or male brain?
That's a good question. The male and the female brain are not the same. There's certain things, like certain chemicals and things like that's my understanding, that differentiate a male and female brain. Male, they have like different.
Yeah, and I agree. They're not the same. They're not the same. You're making a great point. They're not the same, and this is my point. Okay, let's say in some type of weird science fiction thing where like we live 100 years in the future, and your brain get transferred to a female body. Okay, if you have your memories, you've always lived your life as a male. And so that's the memories you live life and you've seen through the perspective of a male. Okay. Now, would you be a male or a female at that point? Well, the brain in and of itself isn't what determines somebody's gender. Like I said, it's all of the above. It's the chromosomes, it's the body, it's the chemicals that the body gives off. It's the genitalia too. It's also the brain. It's all of the factors, all of the above. You can't say just because one thing is male or one thing is female, that person can be qualified as male or female. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, man. You got me. I'm gonna sound very fucking sexist, dog. Sorry for cussing. I'm not gonna do that again. The structure of the male versus the female brain are totally different. I'd rather just like line this up based on the brain versus like what a body entails. That's just how I see it. Just for example, and I think most of the women here can agree, the desire to have children as a woman, that pops up through like how the brain is structured. That's not only like a body thing, that's also a huge brain component. There's like it's gonna sound odd because we're both dudes, but like there's a time when women are like, oh crap, I kind of do want to have a kid, you know? And it's like a different feeling than what men typically kind of feel. I have an article, I can put it in the chat if you want, like regarding the differences.
You just send it through my DMs. Actually, let's not put it in the chat if I haven't seen it.
Actually, yeah. Let me DM it to you. Or actually, I'm just gonna put it under your comment. If that's cool. 1 second.
Because I gotta verify things that go on in the chat room.
Yeah, I think it's too much text for the chat anyway, so it should not even be there. If I put it in there actually, then it's probably cut off and won't go to the actual link. I tagged it on Twitter. I responded to one of your comments on Twitter with it. But yeah, pretty much that was the only thing I was gonna talk to you about today. It was just like the brain differences.
Okay, but the thing is that the thing is that you can't just sum it up to just the brain itself. And then let's go with that argument. Watch this, family. Watch this. If it's the brain, right? Okay. So if a male has a male brain, that person is a male, right? So okay. So that means a person who was born with a male who was born with a male brain cannot become a female, right? With your argument, right?
Brain that makes you a male.
Okay, so that means you can't be trans if you have a male brain, right?
You can have a male brain inside of a biologically female body.
I'm saying if you are born a male and you have a male brain, you cannot say I identify as a female.
Yeah.
Okay.
My advocacy for trans people goes up to like what's medically verifiable. I don't agree with people that say that they're like, oh, I'm 40 years old, I'm a 5-year-old. That doesn't line up with what I believe in. I don't believe in people that say that they're a friggin' a deer. Like there's someone on Twitter that identifies as a deer. I don't agree with that. You're not gonna get me to agree on that. And people have called me transphobic for that. But my belief is that if you have a brain of a male, and even if you're in a female body, like you're born into a female body, like your brain patterns match up to that of a male, then yeah, I'll definitely affirm that. I'll definitely call you a male. Use the men's bathroom. It's going to be a horrible
But the
time
thing,
for us to
okay.
go in the bathrooms, but
But the thing is though, the brain does not determine your sex. That doesn't, like I said, anytime we make these arguments from a scientific point of view, it's always okay. Well, let's focus on the brain, and what you're talking about is like different parts. Because so we have several parts of the brain, and certain parts fire off in certain areas to certain degrees, right? So you're talking about brain chemistry. So that's what we're talking about. The difference between a male and a female brain is the brain chemistry, right? So if you're saying a male who has the brain that imitates the female brain chemistry, okay, if that happens, then that person can identify as a female, but that person is not technically a female. That person is still in a male body. So when are we going to take into consideration the other scientific factors? When are we going to start taking to consideration the chromosomes, the skin, the bones, the skeletons, the genitalia? When are we going to start taking all of those other scientific? Because you can't just sum it up into, okay, it's the brain that determines somebody's sex or gender. You have to take it all in. Either it's all, you can't just nitpick which science best fits your argument. You either have to accept it all or deny it all.
I see what you're saying. So right now we just have a philosophical difference. I think that sex and gender are different things. Sex is like that's what your body says. That's like a biological thing. But gender is more of a declaration. I am a man because I'm an adult who identifies as male. You're a man in my eyes because you're a adult who identifies as male. Our bodies match our sex.
Okay, well, let me ask you, what is
gender for sure, but
what is a gender then? If it now the thing is that they often try to, now you just brought up, now see, this is the loophole. Maybe you're not seeing this, but this is the loophole in that argument, because you just tried to argue on a scientific basis, and now since you really can't win on a scientific basis, now you're trying to argue on a philosophical basis. So philosophically, since you're saying that sex is a science and gender is what you identify as, what is the definition of a gender?
Yeah, so I think gender is a social construct.
Okay, but hold on. Saying it's a social construct is not saying it's not telling what it is. What is a gender?
I was gonna illustrate it.
Okay.
Can I illustrate it real quick?
Go ahead.
All right. So say like you see like, let me think of a celebrity. Let's say you see friggin' Kim Kardashian. Sorry for bringing Kim Kardashian so much. Kim Kardashian walking down the street, but you don't know her name, and you see she's wearing a really cool T-shirt that says like SBA approved, and you're like, wow, look at her with the SBA shirt. That's crazy. You say her because they're showing signs of biological female characteristics. It's a social construct when we use this as like an identifying portion, an identifying part, if that makes any sort of sense at all. Did my camera turn off? Okay, never mind. What I'm saying is it's a social construct in that way, in that regard. If you don't know somebody's name, you say her or him to stand in. That makes it a social construct. Biologically, it's a little bit different. Yeah, they usually go hand in hand. They correlate strongly, super strongly. I can't deny that. But I also acknowledge that they can be different. Okay. That someone cannot have the ability to birth children and still be a woman, or someone cannot have a penis and still be a man. These things don't have to line up as rigidly as we may originally think.
Okay, but the thing is that even if a naturally born female doesn't have the ability to give birth to children, she still has all the other biological criterias that put her in the classification of female. Even if let's say a male gets into an accident, his penis gets cut off, he still has all the other biological classifications that make him a male. It's not just the genitalia, or it's not just somebody giving birth.
Right. The reason why people say it's a spectrum is because like it expresses itself in such a different variety of ways. Who's that one? Is the black woman runner? And she was born a woman. She is a woman. Like she declares herself as a woman as well. But she has too much testosterone, right? Where's this line where things get too skewed,
where you know what I'm saying? Where like the line's being really skewed in certain people. Certain men are more man expressing or more male expressing than other men. Like you're not gonna say that me or you are like have the same male gender expression as Ben Shapiro or as like Chris Crocker, right? I think you and I are like more masculine appearing than someone like Ben Shapiro or Chris Crocker. But we're all four of us are men. It's the same way. The reason why like this is kind of messy when it makes me so rigid is because the human biological expression isn't as rigid as we like to believe.
And I agree with that. You have different. Let me use this analogy, right? You know, you have colors, right? The color red and the color blue. There's different shades of the color red, and there's different shades of the color blue. There's different type of men. There's different type of women. But there is a distinction between red and blue. Okay? There is something that separates red and blue. There's like a bunch of different shades of blue, but you would never pick up any of those shades of blue and say this is red. You know? So there's many different, there's a spectrum maybe about characteristics and about maybe masculinity, but there's not a spectrum between, okay, if a biological man is not masculine, that makes him a female. Let me ask you a question. What is...
Yeah, I believe philosophical purple, though.
Okay, what is... No, okay. Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then. Because if there has to be a purple, then there has to be a red and a blue. You have to admit that.
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you, what is the key difference between the male and the female gender? Not sex, the gender. That differentiates each other.
The gender?
Yes, the gender.
That's an interesting question. People like you would say just simply the body. I'm on the camp of like, it's probably the brain expression. I really do think that.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this. Well, let me follow up.
Not saying that women are like less than men. I'm just different, you know.
Okay, the brain. So the brain expression. You mean like if a male brain is? Explain that then. Because if gender is brain expression, you have males.
Gender comes from brain expression.
Okay, you have males who identify. Well, even with brain expression, like you said, there's a male brain and a female brain. There's not like a third. You know, even with like the brain chemistry, right? With the brain chemistry.
Well, just like how there are people, just how you explained earlier, how there are people, even though I'm seeing you mention there are people that have like, I know these are really niche cases, but they still exist though, where it's like 1% of the population, or maybe even less than that, have like biological characteristics of males and females. Do you think that the same thing can happen with the brain, where there's not a clear-cut difference?
Okay.
Maybe it's like, have you ever seen like a shade of purple that was, you're like, damn, is that blue? Or maybe like a maroon that's like, you're like, damn, is that purple? Is that
Okay.
red?
But even if those anomalies happen, we still can't we can't say that makes gender a social construct because an anomaly happened. Because of something that 99.9% of the time that never happens, and then 1% of the time it happens, or 0.1% of the time that happens. So that makes gender itself a social construct, because 0.1% of the time there might be a situation where instead of red or blue, it's purple. You know, scientifically, you can't really make that argument. We can't live our society based off of a 0.1% of the time thing. You know what I'm saying? What about the males? What about the males who identify as males but they act feminine? And then one of the females who identify with males, or who identifies as a female, but she acts masculine. So like I said, there's different characteristics of the different colors, but there are different colors though. If purple
it's crazy.
But for you to say
Not near as clear cut.
is actually very much more clear cut than you're giving it credit to. And I'm saying this because I feel like we're having a teaching moment, an educational moment right now. Okay, because I'm not trying to come down on anybody, but I'm trying to say, you're kind of going back and forth between biological argument and psychological argument. You're going kind of back and forth between the two. Okay, now. Okay, it's a social construct. Time is a social construct. Actually, do you know? Do you know that? Okay, so if time is a social construct,
Time, like what makes an hour?
and so you know what? So is race. Race is also a social construct.
I agree.
Okay, so can a person say, I feel like I was born in the wrong race? I don't identify with the race I was born with. Or I don't identify with the time I was born. Since those are still so, because the thing is, what we have when we say social constructs, we act as if, okay, if it's a social construct, quote unquote, we get to nitpick it and we get to choose when it applies and when it doesn't. Okay, it's a social construct, so it doesn't count. It's a social construct, so it does count. So if time is a social construct, then why can we not say, hey, I'm 40 years old, but I identify as a 10-year-old, if time is just a social construct? Now, I mean, I'm not for you to answer that, because I understand the complexity of that question. Do you understand the flaw in that argument?
I'm gonna shed a little bit of clarity on that, if you're cool with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that our brain, I don't know how old you are, I'm 27. My brain at 27 is a lot different than my brain at a 10-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like, brain expression, and you can see some brain patterns too, like an old person's brain is a lot different than a baby's brain or a young person's brain. Any scientist from any stripe will tell you this.
Okay.
So like, I think there are like certain brain patterns that line up. Now that is, there's mixed cases, like older brains that like don't develop properly, and like are meant to the same place as a child. That's really weird. Those are very weird use cases. I think that the societal construct of adult having power would still kind of be at play. Just before we get into any weird arguments like that, because I'm not going to support those. With race, I think this is going to sound unpopular, but you know how I talked about scooping your brain out, putting it inside of a woman's body? If I scooped your brain out and put it inside of a white dude's body, like put it inside Logan Paul's body, I wouldn't consider you black anymore.
Okay, because my body is not black. My brain is not the only thing that determines my race. And that's the point I'm making. See, and I feel like you're touching up on my point perfectly.
We're like the roller coaster dueling dragons, I feel like, right now. Our Lego pieces aren't like connecting. What I'm saying is that, like, there's no difference in brain structure between like races. Like a white dude with the same like brain cells as you and everything, same age, will probably have similar brain patterns, I'd say. Like versus like a woman with the same age as you and everything would have different like brain structures.
Okay, let me ask you because
not in like a greater or unequal way, but I'm just saying it's like different.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. Do you see how you're going back and forth between the brain and in philosophy? You're trying to nitpick which points of science that fits your argument. I don't know if you even notice it, because I get into debates with people, and they don't even notice that they do that. They're nitpicking between, okay, I'm gonna use the brain, I'm gonna use the human body when it fits my argument, and then when I talk about, okay, well, what about the other parts of the human body? Oh, well, it's a philosophical argument. They switch it to a philosophical argument when you're talking about anything except the brain, which in the cases that you brought up is very, very rare itself. And then when I say, okay, well, what about the fact that gender and race and time, all of these things are social constructs? Now you're trying to go back to the science. See, the thing is that you can't have one without the other. You can't mix the science that fits your argument and then say, okay, I'm gonna ignore all the other sciences. Then you can't say, okay, well, let's look at it from a philosophical point of view, and then say I'm only going to look at it from the philosophical perspective that fits my argument. If that philosophy doesn't fix my argument, then I'm going to use if you poke a hole in my philosophical argument, then I'm going to revert back to the science that patches up that hole. That's the problem that we're having. That's why I made this argument, because I've been debating this for years. Actually, people don't know it. Before YouTube, if people didn't know, before YouTube, I've been debating the concept of gender identity and all that for years. Actually, I've talked to physicists, I've talked to psychologists and doctors about this thing, and they make the same points. When I ask, okay, if you was to say there is a gender, now you brought up the fact that sex and gender, sex is the body, the physical body. Sex and gender are two different things. So what is the difference between the male gender and the female gender? Because they have to be two completely different things. In order for you to categorize something, it has to be different from another category. There's a million different shades of, or not a million, but there's a lot of shades of red, but you would never pick one up and say it's blue. So I'm saying, in order for there to be a male and a female, what is the difference? Or what makes one a female gender, and what makes one a male gender? And then when I bring that argument up, they try to revert back to talking about the brain chemistry, when they already established earlier, just like you did, that there is a difference between sex and gender. And then when I point out, okay, well, what is the gender? You're trying to go back to the sex. It's this loophole argument, because you're trying to argue a whole bunch of different things, and all of those things are actually contradictory. You understand? The arguments that you're making debunk itself. That's why you have to keep going from different angles. From a physical, biological standpoint, the brain is not the only thing at all that determines the gender. Okay, it's not even really one of the main things that determines the gender. Every single aspect of it, not just, okay, if you have the ability to give birth or whatnot, that makes you a female. And if you're born a female and you can't do that, you're not a female. No, you know what I'm saying? There's difference in the physical body of a male and a female, and that can't be changed. Even if you do get surgery and all that, that will still be permanent. Like I said, if they don't take those pills, and this is documented, you guys can go look up documentaries on that. There's websites on this, okay? I know what I'm talking about. If they stop taking those pills, their body will revert back to its natural state. If a trans woman stops taking the pills, that person will start growing facial hair again. It will always go back to its natural state. From a philosophical point of view, if you say, okay, gender is a social construct, so it can kind of be broken, I can kind of change it to what I want it to be, then okay, well, if that's the case, if gender is a social construct, then what is the social construct difference between a male and a female? There has to be one. And then you revert back to the brain. But you already established that the brain we already established that the human body is not what makes you your gender. So it's you kind of going back in circles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see how that can come off really annoying. It's weird because these things are tied together. It's a way where it's not appealing and it's not necessarily fun for everybody. When we talk about male and female as in a gender sense, in a sense of what gender is, that's philosophical. When we talk about sex, that's scientific. And these things correlate with each other quite a bit.
Okay,
okay. It's a novel idea, especially in American culture, that these things are different. But there's a reason why gender and sex are separated things, it's separate categories. One's gender, philosophical, sex, scientific. So if I back something up in a scientific sense, I'm just trying to give a reason why it's a philosophical question. If I back a scientific, well, I don't think I'm backing it scientifically. Philosophy question yet, have I? But if I were to do that, it'd give a sense on why that science is necessary, why that science is.
Okay. Let me ask you. Since you're saying gender is philosophical, from now on, since you made that argument, We will not focus on the physical human body, including the brain, whatsoever. We're just going to talk about the philosophical argument of gender. Okay? So with that being said, what is the philosophical difference between a male and a female that makes them different genders?
I guess a male philosophically is, well, can we say man, woman? I think that a man is an adult male and a woman is an adult identified as a female.
Okay, but I mean,
as I
what is that? What is a
said,
female then? What is a woman then? What is the definition of a woman and what is the definition of a man?
Yeah, I think it's an adult who identifies as male.
I mean, hold on, wait. But you said that I can't identify as a deer. You can't just say, well, what is a man? I'm somebody who identifies as a man. A man has a definition. There has to be a definition to it.
You're right.
So
Yeah,
what is the definition of a man and what is the definition of a female?
As an animal, fuck 'em.
I'm saying.
Sorry for cutting in. Sorry about that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, these things are interesting. It's some existential at this weird point, but we can't back up this philosophy. Like, if there was no scientific data or no scientific research or anything that backs up the trans argument, I wouldn't believe it. I simply wouldn't believe it. The same way I don't believe that you can be an adult and identify as a freaking teacher. I'm not calling someone a dick. That's something I'm not going to do. So that's kind of where it comes from. This philosophy only works if science backs it up. And scientific research that debunks
but science,
everything
but
that I say.
okay, but the thing is, science doesn't back it up. Science does not back it up because every time I bring up science, you're making it seem like the only part of the human body is the brain. And when I bring up science, no, you're making that argument because that fits your argument. The brain does not determine the sex of a person. So how does that science back that up then? If I'm saying the sex of a person is determined by multiple factors scientifically, then how does the brain? Because let's say this, right? If someone gets their head chopped off, and doctors find their body, they will be able to determine the sex of that person, despite the fact that they don't have access to the brain. So the brain does not determine the sex of a person. So why do you I mean, and that's what I'm talking about. You're playing hopscotch, like logical hopscotch. You're going, okay, it's a philosophical argument. Okay, it's backed up by science. And then I say, well, you're ignoring all of these other aspects of science. Then you're talking about, okay, well, let's go back to philosophy. No, you have. First off, you got to stay with one. And then if you got to stay with one, you got to see it the entire way through.
It's like a philosophical and scientific state of being that.
Do you not see any flaws in your logic at all? Do you not see any flaws in your logic?
It's the flaws that the philosophy has to back the science and the science has to back the philosophy, where there has to be science, scientific or philosophical arguments for both.
Okay, because.
No, I don't think that's. I don't think I made it up though. You know, as I said earlier, say we're 40 years in the future. One of our grandkids loses to a female bottle. You want to be called a male? That's cool.
No, okay. Well, if that's the case,
or
then
an adult with your own sense of of being.
Let me ask you.
You have a male brain. I never know.
Let me ask you a question just for clarification. And I asked this before. You're talking about philosophy, right? What is the difference between the male and the female gender? Can't say, oh, I just identify as one. What is the difference between a male and a female gender? There has to be a difference because they have to be a difference, even if they're social construct. Race is a social construct, but you can tell the difference between the black race and the white race. So just because it's a social construct doesn't mean that there's no difference. So what is the difference between the male gender and the female gender?
Declarative. It has to be declarative.
You saying what?
It's declarative, as in like I'm a man, so I identify as a man. So
That's a flaw in life. Okay, so if that's the case, somebody can be a male at 1 o'clock and a female at 2 o'clock, and then from 2 to 10 they're a female, and then when they get home they're a male. They can flip back and forth, just like taking off different jackets, with that argument.
I believe that someone can be non-binary, where their brain functions at like equally or very closely 50-50 skew between male and female. I haven't seen it as egregious where someone's like, oh, today I'm Bob, tomorrow I'm Teresa.
But I'm saying with your argument, they can do that. With your argument, right?
If someone's like non-binary.
No, not identifying as non-binary, identifying as, hey, when I wanna be a male, I can be a male. When I wanna be a female, I can be a female. Because I just identify as that. Because the thing is, I asked you for a definition, and the only thing you've been able to provide is the definition is what you say. So if a word can mean anything, a word has no meaning. You know that? If a word can mean, if a word in any language, let's say the English language, if a word in the English language can mean anything, then it doesn't actually have a meaning. So if you're saying a female, there's really no definition as long as you call yourself a female, and there's no criteria for you to be classified as a female, then a woman, then there is no women. If there's no criteria for you to qualify to be classified as a man, then there is no men. So gender, like you see the flaws in your argument.
Yeah, and I see flaws in yours. This is philosophical. English has changed all the time.
No. This is no. This is not just English. This is not just English. Hold on. This is not just English. This is human language in general, not just English. If a word can mean anything at all, then the word doesn't mean anything. You can't give a definition to a word if that word can mean anything.
These words don't mean anything at all. These things.
You just said that they do. You just said that they do. Depending on how do you identify with something that doesn't mean anything? You see the flaws. Family. You see the flaws in this argument.
I never said these things had no meaning. Okay, it's very important for a lot of trans people to be called the gender that they ascribe to.
Okay, but let me ask you one more time, because
those languages, you wouldn't even consider, if you went back 200 years ago, like the 1850s or whatever, 1820s, like the 1820s. Sorry, so sorry for cussing. I'm so sorry. Sorry, crap. Anyway, what I'm saying is that like language changes. Like, well, you were considered 3/5 of what a man is just because we're black.
Okay.
Like, the philosophical meanings that we ascribe, that we put towards words, like, do change, these things do evolve. When we consider, like, what does rich mean during the 14th century? Okay, like, someone can live in Baltimore, like, everything in Baltimore, and they'd be rich to that definition, right?
Okay, let me ask, okay, but you're making a flaw when it comes to, words might be subjective. Rich might depend on how much money you have, depending on what time and what period. Rich in Chicago might be different from rich in LA, and rich in LA might be different from rich in Iowa. But there is a definition of what rich is. You can still define rich, even if those things change, even if those words, there might be some nuance to the words still have definitions. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
what is the definition of a male, of a man and a woman?
Yeah, it's okay if we have different definitions. This is a time in U.S. history, or even human history, where we're redefining these words or reexamining what these words mean. For me, it means a man is an adult who identifies as male.
But that, okay, so an adult that identifies as male, right? So how do you identify as male? Because I thought you said that male and female are scientific, right? Those are the sex. A male and female is the sex. So how do you identify with something if you're not that?
Philosophically, someone can be male, and scientifically, someone
Okay, so philosophically, what is the definition of a male? What is the definition of a male? What is the definition? Sir, that is not a definition. You can't say the definition is you claiming the definition. You can't say the definition of a male is saying you're a male. That's not the definition of a male.
That's a good point. I guess on the gender binary, I would say it'd be the predominantly masculine gender.
Okay, so if a male is not masculine, does that make him a female?
In a philosophical sense?
Yeah, does that make him a female?
No, you can still be masculine and
but you okay? So it's not just masculinity then.
Yeah, but I'd say it's so I have to redefine this again. You want it? That's a good, interesting. So that's very interesting. So I see an impasse right here. I can't define male without dipping into science, and I guess I want to talk about non-binary people, in a way that ignores science or without acknowledging science. So that's interesting. Not a word like masculine, but I can't use the word male. I can't use man, and I can't refer to declarative words.
Now you're seeing like there's kind of like a flaw in the logic that's being pushed out, right? So I've been on for like 2 hours. I appreciate you coming on. You know what I'm saying? So we can actually have this, and you've been respectful. Actually, you've apologized for cursing and everything, so you've been respectful. But I feel like the family got the point of this argument or this debate. So I would like to thank you. I'm gonna have to. You see what?
Appreciate the combo, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
Hey. Different topics we can talk about some other time.
Yeah. Hey. Don't forget. Okay. Don't forget though. We're still gonna need that donation to save Mason, Tennessee. To hashtag save Mason, Tennessee.
I saw an article today. I did look up Mason. Thank you for telling me about Mason. I did not know about it. You guys brought it up. To everyone's credit. You guys' credit. I saw that Mason had like a payment plan worked out. Like, Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan like bailed them out quite a bit, and the payment plan they have like let them remain incorporated. Is there anything else that's needed in Mason?
Yeah. Okay. Check on my channel. I've done some videos, and Judge Joe Brown has been in those videos. Where I recorded some Twitter Spaces about exactly what needs to happen with Mason, Tennessee. So you should look back on that, and that will determine. That can help you determine how you should be supporting. Because there's different ways.
To my understanding, I thought, well, okay, if there's like smaller like mutual aid or community things related to Mason, Tennessee, then I'm open to it. But hey, 20 years, man, I feel like they're gonna be rolling pretty fat, okay? Like,
as long as it's rolling with black people, that's the point. That's the point.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be rolling, but we want black people to be benefiting from that. But I'm gonna let you go. Okay, you check out those videos, and then you make your you contribute to the campaign to save our brothers and sisters in Mason, Tennessee. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Real estate's about to go up. It's about to go up, man.
Yep.
All right. Have a good one, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. That went a little bit smoother than I thought it was gonna go, to be honest. But you guys saw that was not difficult at all. That was not difficult at all. All I had to do was ask questions. If you know the right questions, that's all you have to do. All you have to know. You know. I didn't do this from a I'm saying, okay, you want to talk about science? I'll meet you at the science point of view. You want to talk about philosophy? I will meet you at the philosophical point of view. Okay. If that's what you want to do, I will meet you there. And every way he went, he was like, "Oh, can't really do it like that. Let me go to this way. Can't really do it like that. Let me go to this way." And I'm all like, "I see you playing this mental hopscotch, this jumping back and forth. I can see you, Okay, I see, and I pointed that out, and then he got stuck quite a few times. Like, damn, like, I don't know, you know. And I'm saying, and they use the argument with the brain. I'm all like, you can't first off, with that argument, then that means a trans person can't identify as trans unless they have a brain scanned and the brain classifies as a female brain, which most of them don't do. Secondly, okay, the brain is not the only thing that determines the body. You can't just, we're going to ignore all other factors of the body and only focus on the brain. I'm like, you can't do that. Okay, well, let's talk about philosophy. Okay, it's a construct. Okay, so are all these other things. So why can't we use that same logic with these other things? Okay, well, let's talk about the science. We just pointed out the flaw with your science. It was very easy. When you know what to say, then that's it. But I've been on here for 2 hours. I did not expect to be on here this long. Damn. I honestly didn't think he was gonna call in, to be honest. Hashtag Save Mason, Tennessee. We are still working on that campaign, brothers and sisters. We still need to put maximum effort into that. Okay? Maximum effort into saving Mason, Tennessee. Okay? Liking the likes, liking the subscriptions. Okay. We can get to 1,000 subscribers before April. We can get there before April. Family. Oh, stay tuned later because I'm going to be editing the Twitter space that I had about the do's and don'ts of being on code. I found a new format to edit those things, so I should be uploading that tonight. So stay tuned later for that tonight. Okay? Shout out to Tia, LT, Bars and Joystick. Let me see. Harlem 9. Keep going up. Terrell, Nino Black, Gloria, Angus. Let me see. TJ Titan, Nikki the God, Taj Ben John. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Dylan. Shout out to Torian Rain. Shout out to Black Light Revolutions. Shout out to Low-Key Theory, or your comment's been deleted. I don't know if I should shout out. Shout out to the Black Alpha Network. Shout out to The View of One. Shout out to Kid Gravity Beyond. S. Mont. Shout out to every single last one of you. Mike, shout out to you, brother. Tasha, shout out to you, sister. Antoinette, shout out to you, sister. Shout out to every single last one of you all. Okay? You all have a good night. Y'all be safe out there. Don't forget to subscribe. We're almost at 1,000. Do not forget to do that. And check on my Twitter page too. Link is in the bio. And is at _J Elite or J_Elite 10 with the other video I made about transgenderism being, or pedophilia being through transgenderism. Check that out, okay? Check out the video I did Monday with Tori and Rain, okay? Check that out. I'll put that in the link shortly after. Shout out to you, family. Y'all be safe out there.